Hey, everybody, welcome to the online campus host gathering. I'm Jay, the online pastor, and this is.
Yeah, my name is Kevin. I'm the connection pastor.
And so we are so excited that you are here with us
Yeah.
today. Some of you are watching, you're on our time zone, Pacific. Some of you are on the East Coast. Some of you are up late, up early. Thank you for tuning in.
International audience and viewers right here.
Very committed.
Yeah.
And even if you're watching the playback, I want to let you know we're going to be engaging with you in the chat room. And so if you have any questions at any moment during this event, please pop into the chat. Say hi to Troy.
Yeah.
Troy is hosting it right now. And we're going to be doing some Q&A at the end. So please post your questions. Say where you're watching from.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to know everybody. But we're going to be covering a lot, right?
Yeah.
Today?
A lot of stuff, a lot of exciting things.
Yeah. So we're obviously in the midst of this campaign right now, all about time to dream. And we're talking about what does it look like for your small group, no matter where you're watching from, to engage with this campaign. And so to kind of kick this off, we're going to be talking about 5 tips. 5 tips for you, the host. And this is really true for all members.
Yeah.
We want you to know this, that this is how you engage with us. So these are just some tips. This is not just everything we could think of. These are just some simple things. We do have a deeper class called Leadership Training 1 that we'll share more. If you want to dive even deeper into how to be the best host possible or the best group member possible, you can take this, but we're going to look at 5. And so number 1, let's break down what a normal small group actually looks like. What does it look like to actually be in a group? Now, there's a couple different types of groups.
Yes.
There's an online group where you meet on like Zoom or Skype. There's actually a home group where you meet actually in a home. And then there is a workplace group where you're actually meeting maybe on your break and so forth. So let's kind of look at a couple things. So normal group. A normal group, first off, is you actually you welcome everybody. And that means you get on the call or you sit, you're in a kind of a circle. And you kind of you say, hey, you're not trying to be a dictator here where you're just like, hey, we got to meet right on time. We got to meet right. Nobody wants a librarian host, okay? Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
You just casually welcome everybody. And then on a Zoom call, if you're doing it online, it's going to look a little different. My encouragement, if you're doing an online-only group, is get everybody to unmute themselves.
Yes.
Get everybody just to say a little something so that they're comfortable. Right when you kind of get all 6 people to kind of learn how to mute and unmute and talk, they get a little bit more comfortable. And so welcome everybody to say, hey, how are you doing? And the next thing is warm up the group. And what I mean by this is, you got to understand, people, when they're coming into this Time to Dream study, I know you as the host or maybe a core member of our church, you're excited for it. But new people and people that have never been part of a group, they're uncomfortable. It's kind of like a big blind date. You're just trying to get yourself kind of just comfortable in your own skin. The more you do something, the more normal it becomes. So the more you meet as a group, the more easier the warm-up time will be.
Yeah.
But I encourage you, as you're getting going in this new group that you're doing, just kind of have a question or something like, hey, how was your week? Or what's going on?
Yeah.
Or, hey, have you seen this movie? Or something casual to get everybody to talk and everybody just to feel like, just kind of take a breath. Because remember, people are coming from their work. They're coming from, maybe their kids were yelling. They had to yell at their kids. Maybe they got in a fight with their spouse or a fight with their boss. And they're moving into this time, and you need a transition time just to kind of let them feel comfortable. So welcome everybody, then warm up the group, and then next, watch the study. Now, I say optional, not because you're not going to watch the study.
Yeah.
And Pastor Kevin is about to share a little bit more about how you actually access that online here in a bit. But as an online group or a home group, one option that you have is instead of when you meet, you watch it, you can actually all give everybody digital access to the study prior to meeting. So that actually when you meet, you actually just talk.
Yeah.
And so there's 2 ways you can do this.
Right.
You can tell everybody before, hey, everybody, log into the watch page, watch week 1, and when we meet, we're going to go through the discussion time. Or you can actually, when you meet together, you can actually watch the study. As a home group, you can actually sit together and watch it together. Yeah. Or you can skip it and just go right to the discussion question.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's optional.
Yeah.
You can either watch it prior
Exactly.
or you can watch it together. I say that because an online group on like a Zoom call
Yeah.
or even a Skype, even a workplace group, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to burn 20 minutes
Exactly. Yeah.
like just, watching the
Yeah.
study together. And
Yeah.
so that's why it's optional.
Yeah.
Number 4, it's discuss the questions. And so you've already welcomed everybody. You've warmed up the group. Everyone's kind of friendly. They're getting more comfortable. You've either watched the study prior or you've spent 20, 30 minutes watching it as a group.
Yeah.
And now what you're going to do, you're actually going to walk through the questions. And so that means there's usually 3 to 5 questions in each week. And we have notes that go along that you can download prior to
Exactly, yep.
meeting as the host. And you're just going to go through those questions. And you just ask. You go, hey, Pastor Rick talked about, Matthew, 5:3.
Yeah.
What stood out to you? And they're usually open-ended questions.
Yeah.
And the idea is you just kind of want everybody to talk.
Yeah.
Now, not every question, not everybody has to say every little thing.
Yeah.
But you're going to ask the question. So you're the
Yeah.
host. You're not a Bible teacher.
Exactly.
You don't have to be a seminary trained person.
Yeah.
You're just literally going, here's question 1.
Yeah.
And you're reading it. And you read it together. So
Yeah.
in a room, you're sitting together. You say the question.
Yeah.
If you're on a call, you're going to say something else. You're going to say, hey, here it is. And you look at everybody on the video screens.
Yeah.
Workplace, the same thing.
Yeah, and if I may jump in real quick about those questions, feel free to ask questions that are beyond the questions that we've prepared for you. As your relationship with your participants grow, you're gonna know more about their lives and their relationships and things that they struggle. So feel free to ask if a particular part of the message of the teaching speaks to you or to the members. Feel free to ask beyond what we have prepared for you in that study guide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good.
Mhm.
And then after the questions, you're actually going to end with prayer requests. And so what you're going to do is you've welcomed everybody, you've warmed up, you've watched the study, or everybody watched it, you've gone through the questions, and then you're going to actually just end with asking, hey, how can we be praying for you this week? And those type of simple things are really a helpful way to kind of go even deeper. Because what you'll find is something either happened during the week or got brought up during the study, and that's an opportunity for each member to kind of open up and share a little bit more. Because remember, the goal of your small group is not to complete the study. The goal of the small group is to help each of you live out the 5 purposes. And if a moment happens in your group where you spend more time talking about the prayer requests than the study, that's okay, right? So like the goal is for you to learn about each other and help each other and encourage. So prayer requests, if you're somebody that's like, I want to get through this 6-week Time to Dream study, and that's all you're thinking about, I understand. I'm the same way. I want to complete it.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm a rule follower. But understand, if something happened, if spouses are fighting or something happened at work and there's a moment to dive deep, remember that person is hurting. Pastor Rick talks about this a lot, that the most kind of ripe opportunities for people to change, meaning grow closer to Jesus, are in times of in transition. And most likely transition times are painful times. So as they are sharing prayer requests, like don't speed through that. And so do not skip. So you're welcoming people, you're watching the study, you're discussing, and then don't fast forward through prayer requests. Don't skip that. If anything, skip over other things than prayer requests. And then lastly, end with prayer. Take somebody in the group, and I'm gonna highly suggest this. Take different people each week, have them end with prayer. Don't have just the host end with prayer. Because that's really important. That allows different people to talk to God. And I understand a new person, the person who's brand new, maybe not a believer, don't have them pray the first week. Have somebody else pray, right? But get other people engaged in the process. You as the host and an active member, you want everybody engaged. And the more people are engaged, the better the group's going to be. The better it's going to last. And so the first one, that's what a normal group looks like, right? That's what a normal online group or a home group or workplace group. You're going to watch something, you're going to discuss something, and you're going to end with prayer.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And you're going to do that for 6 weeks throughout the study. Tip number 2, get everybody in the group to talk, okay? Get everybody to talk, every single person. And I want to encourage you, as we're watching this, we're reading through your chat. I know Kevin is, and then when he starts talking, I will, and Troy is as well. And I want to encourage you to ask questions. Anything you're like, doesn't make sense, please reach out to us in the chat right now. And so the tip number 2, get everyone to talk. And so this visual right now is really key. And I bring it up because I think this is a thought. If you've had any experience with small groups or Bible studies, maybe you went to one as a kid, or maybe you were part of one in college, you normally think of it as this model where there's a leader kind of directing everybody. So you have 6 people, and it's like, I'm the one on stage kind of talking through everything. No. At Saddleback, that's not what small groups are about. Small groups are more the one on the right there, where it's everybody is talking to each other. Almost think of it as a star. There's a star where you're getting everybody talking. Again, the idea is that the leader is not the spiritual expert. We are all at different points in the journey, and some of us might be experts in different phases of this, but we're all learning from each other, and we're all part of the transformation process. So trust me, you can learn from somebody who is new in the faith. And as they are sharing, maybe something that's not, maybe it's not a good point. Maybe it's something that they need to grow in, but let them share it and learn from each other and let everybody talk. This is why we have discussion questions. This is why we want everybody to share. Again, you're not there. If you've been walking with Jesus for 20 years and you're constantly correcting people in your group, just think, this is not a Bible study. This is a small group. The goal is transformation, not information.
Yes.
And so that takes everybody to get engaged. And so this is really important. So some other tips to kind of get going is ask open-ended questions. Try to not just kind of like, is it yes or no? And our discussion questions will help with that. But when you're asking follow-up questions, don't say something like, I agree or disagree. Ask something like, what do you think about that? Or your answer, you said you think Jesus means this. Why do you think that? And ask open-ended questions. Number 2, be okay with silence. We're not okay with silence. I can tell you right now, like if we would just, like that's weird. Silence is weird. I'm with you. Anytime I like to fill in the gaps with silence. Let people think. I've learned this in marriage. My wife needs more time to process her thoughts. And I try to rush her thoughts. And normally that gets me in trouble. The same thing with different people in your small group. Understand there are different people in your small group that think differently. The whole point of your small group is to have people differently than you so that you grow. If we were all the same, we would be boring robots. God puts diversity around us to challenge us, to strengthen us, to make us something different. And so be okay with silence. Let them think through it. And even say, hey, do you need a couple more minutes? We'll come back to you, and give them some time. Another point is use names if somebody doesn't talk. Now, this is not a punishment, okay? I want to let you know that if someone's not talking, maybe let them go a question or two, not answering. But on the third question, go, hey, Sally, I saw you haven't answered this. Why aren't you sharing? And just kind of use their name and kind of look at them. And don't be like, a principal about it, like mean. Be just like, be very compassionate about it. Like, hey, Jerry, I know you. I know you haven't shared something in the last couple questions. What do you think about this one? Give them an opportunity to share. Again, you're going to have people who have different experiences of faith, and maybe they don't feel comfortable sharing yet. But if you kind of let them know that you want them to share, use their name. If you don't know their name, that's another issue. But maybe your group is too big. But give them an opportunity. Use their name. Next, this is really important as a host or even an active member. Scan the questions ahead of time and think about the people in your group. I do this a lot in my own small group. And actually, as we've been going through the study, I look through all the questions and everything, and I kind of select the 2 or 3 questions that I think are the best for our group. You don't need to go through every discussion question every week. Maybe some questions are better for other groups. Just look at the questions and go, hey, here are the 3 that are really important. And think about the people in your group, where they are with Jesus, and just focus on that, but scan ahead. And then lastly is be patient with new people, okay? And so be patient with new people. And what I mean by that is new people have different understandings of different things, and they might think very differently than you, okay? And so just be patient with the way they talk. Be patient with maybe some of their things they say about what God thinks or Jesus thinks. They are at the beginning stages of this walk with Jesus, and don't be surprised if they think and say things differently than
Mm.
you because they don't believe everything you believe. And they're at the beginning stages of this journey. So be patient with new people. And so next, what we're going to do is we're actually going to look at how to add people to your group roster, which is really important. And Kevin's going to do that.
This is very important because you and your participants have to be in a group roster in order to get the access to the devotional, a digital devotional, and also the small group study, the video and the study guide. So it's very important for you to be in a group roster. So let me show you step by step how you can do that. So if you look at this screen right here, go to saddleback.com/account/small group. And when you go there, you will see this screen right here with an arrow on it. So when you, that arrow is, when you click on that, you'll be able to find your group and you'll be led to this screen right here. And on the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a button that says edit. So go ahead and click that. And when you click that, you'll see this screen here. And on the left-hand side of that screen is where you can update your group information. This is where you tell us your time, day, and even in the description, you can let us know what time zone you're in to let us know about that. And you can put your small group picture if you would like to. You can also revise your group name if you want to. So you can do all that there on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, you will see that word group roster. That's where you have, it's one of the most important things you can do in this campaign because it's going to eliminate a lot of frustration. Even in the chat section, we see a lot of questions regarding how to obtaining your small group studies. So go ahead and click edit, and you will see this invite by email button show up on the bottom. Go ahead and use that. You can also use invite by text, but we have seen that inviting by email is an easier invitation to send, and also on the participants end, it's the easier method of accepting your invitation. So invite by email, and you can insert their email address and then click save on the right hand side, and you'll see that the invite email has been sent to the participant. And the participant also has to go in and accept the invitation in order to be fully enrolled in your group roster. And when this happens, this will allow all the group members, including you and participants who are in the group roster, to have access to the curriculum, which I'm going to go into in the fourth tip of the 5 tips that we have for you. So how to access your small group material and devotional. Once you're in the group roster, you can go to saddleback.com/watch. This is the new watch page that we've made and created for you. So mysaddleback.com, we had some people ask about mysaddleback.com not working and redirecting. It's because we have created this watch page for you. So go ahead and go to saddleback.com/watch and select small group studies. When you click small group studies, one of the first things that you will see, because we're in the season of campaign, you will see a bunch of different ways to access your campaign materials. You will see Chinese, you will see Spanish, and on the fourth one right now as we speak, the fourth one is the one that it's done in English, and you can click that. And on the left, you can see view series, and you click that. That's where you're led to where all the curriculums for the videos, teachings, and the study guides are available for you. So this is where you want. So again, let me stress the point that you need to be in a group roster in order to access all this. So if you don't know how to do that, go make sure you do that step before and go into the watch page to make sure that you have that access. This is very important. This is where you will have the access to the curriculum. And let me talk to you a little bit about the devotional. Devotional is not available on the watch page, but I do recommend that you talk to your community leader and even talk to me about getting the access to the devotional. This is not meant to be shared publicly, so we are giving the link to give yourself or give you the access where we're going to email every day in the morning You'll get it in your email inbox, daily devotional. And this also, you need to be in a group roster in order to access this. So again, stressing the point, number 3, updating your group roster is the key to getting both the small group curriculum and the devotional. So we see a lot of questions, but number 5, the 5th tip is go to your community leader if you get stuck. Community leaders, we have ever-growing community leader, which is great. We have a lot of people who are helping, who have stepped up to help a lot of new hosts. That's you. That's your resource. So go ahead and, if you don't know who your community leader is, go ahead and email me or even let us know in the chat section, and then we'll connect you to a community leader who can help you more readily and immediately whenever you're stuck in a step or all throughout this journey of hosting a group through campaign time. So ask your community leader about it, and you can also contact me at kevinl@saddleback.com for any more information.
Yeah, and we can't stress it enough. Here at our local campuses, the way you're getting the devotional and the small group study is that you have to be in a small group. And so this is why the reason why we took out time at this event to kind of show you that tutorial on how to add people to your group roster, that's why that's so important. Because if you come to a campus and you say you want 5 books, we would have to literally add you to a group. And the same thing's true online. So we're sorry to kind of take some time to kind of explain it, but that is important.
Yes.
It's really important. You have to be in a small group. If you're not going to be in a small group and you don't want to go through that process, we would direct you to a link where you can buy it. And so that's something to think about. So I want to encourage you. We're kind of coming up to the Q&A time. And what I want to encourage you on is if you got your question, I've gotten 5 or 6 questions already. If you got another question that maybe as we've been talking, hey, make sure you answer this. Post it in the chat right now. Troy's going to be in there answering some of the questions, and we'll spend some time at the end kind of diving into deeper. But so those are the 5 tips. Next, I want to spend some time actually looking at the Open Doors projects. So a big part of this campaign is actually giving back to your community, being a light and somebody who's kind of the hands and feet of Jesus in your community. So the question is, how do you do that if you are part of an online group, or if you live, hundreds, thousands, or even, on the other side of an ocean away from a physical Saddleback campus? Well, I want to let you know you can, and it's going to look a little bit different, but we're going to encourage online groups and even home groups that are far away. Yes, as Pastor Rick talks about open door projects, we want you to do that. You are not off the hook, okay? This is not like you're reading the Bible and you're like, well, I don't got to do that. Yeah, no, you and I have to do that, and we want you to do that as well. And so there are a couple resources to kind of help you do this. First, there's actually on the Open Doors website, if you go to saddleback.com/opendoors, there is a link there to a section on the page, and I've pointed out there, it says Open Doors Project. If you click on the campus, there's actually an online campus option, and you'll see that there will be all these ways that you can do open door projects. And so there's 2 ways you're going to do this. First, you're going to select your actual project. But the 2 ways you express it is that if you're an online group, my suggestion is when you get into week 2 and 3 of the study, Pastor Rick will start talking about open doors. And you'll start going, what do we want to do? And what you'll do is that as a group, either online or right there in your home, you'll go to this website, again, on a video call or in your home, you'll go there and you'll actually click Online Campus and you'll walk through all the projects. And if you're an online group, what you'll do is you go, okay, for our Open Doors project, we want to pack lunches, for example, as one of them. And there's about, I think, 30 plus opportunities. As an online group, because you guys are all most likely meeting in different time zones and different locations, you'll actually go, okay, we want to pack lunches for the homeless, and we're going to give it out to people in our city. And you're going to then make that commitment. Our online group is going to do this Open Doors project. And then when you kind of log off and you go into the real world, you will do that project, and when you come back together, you will talk about it. And so what's different about a physical group is a physical group can do the open door project together. An online group will do it individually, but you'll be unified on what you're doing and you'll come back together. The one thing I'm going to encourage you is as you pick projects, think about your city, your county, your country. Every country and city and county has different needs. There's some universal needs, but pick something that makes sense for where you're at. And so it doesn't mean you have to do the exact same thing, but for online groups, you're going to pick a project, do it offline individually, and come back together. Okay? So that's the one way you do it. For all your home groups or your workplace groups where you guys actually meet together in a coffee shop or in a home, you'll do a similar thing. You'll go to the website, you'll pick a project, and then you pick a time that week. You'll say, hey, Thursday or Friday, or let's say on week 4, maybe because of schedules, we're going to do this project. We're gonna meet together and we're gonna walk through. We're gonna serve our community this way. A great resource for you to consider using is, I think it's 211.org, if I'm remembering. That actually, and I think it's primarily for the United States. 211.org is a great resource where you can actually go and it will identify the needs in your area. So if you are in, let's say, outside of Minnesota, or you're outside of, we were talking to Lori today.
Laura
From Naples, Florida.
Yeah.
So if she's in Naples, Florida, Laura got baptized today,
awesome.
Which is really cool at one of our at a Lake Forest campus. But she's in Naples, Florida. She wants to do an open doors, project. She would contact the local city, maybe the city council or the county, and say, what are the 3 top needs? Mm-hmm. And then you can pick a project based off that need, or partner with somebody. But you would actually do it together. So online groups, go here, pick a project, do it offline individually, come back together and talk about it. Physical groups, you're going to actually pick a project and do it together. You can do it individually if you want, but I'm going to recommend you do it as a team and then plan out. So I think week 2, which we're in week 2 right now,
yes.
You're going to actually start planning when are you going to do your open doors project. So I would say right about now or into week 2, depending if you're a week or 2 behind, which is okay. Week 2, actually go to the website and start planning out. We want to do the open door project week 3 or week 4, but you got to do the open door project. And just because you're far away, there are no excuses. You can serve your community in the same way. Yeah. And so that's how you do open door projects. Go to saddleback.com/open doors. What we want to do now is we actually want to kind of end our time answering some questions, because I know there's going to be things that don't make sense. I know we've talked about a lot. We've talked about what a normal group looks like. We've talked about kind of how do you get everybody to talk, how to add people to a group roster, how to access the material digitally, the importance of a CL, and how to do open door projects. I know there's got to be some questions that are lingering as you're like, okay, wait, can you spend some more time on this one or that one? Kevin does have the adding the group roster and accessing the digital material. He does have a tutorial video if you're like, I need to watch that again. He has it like under a minute. It's really easy. But right now I'm going to encourage you, jump into the chat and ask some questions. And so let's start rattling off this. So first off, one of the questions was, will this event be available afterwards? Will it be, Kevin?
Which
This event.
The live, will it be recorded?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It will be. That wasn't a trick question. I know I got you there. Yes, the event will be available here. A playback will be available right afterwards that you can access. So if maybe somebody in your group didn't have a chance to watch it, or you want to send somebody, or you want to rewatch something, yes, you can rewatch it here. Another question is, what week are we in? So just and maybe explain a little bit, what if we're behind?
Yeah, don't feel too pressured to that you feel like I get a lot of emails saying, oh, I feel like I'm already late, but where you are right now is perfect. So start with week 1, but right now as a church we are in week 2. It's just starting this weekend, so you're not too late. If you want to do week 2 and you've missed week 1, you can do that on your own time and then come back together as a group to do week 2. But this campaign, even though it's going to be a 6-week campaign, this study material will be available for you going forward. So there's no rush. You can feel at peace and then follow along. We are at week 2 right now.
Yeah, and one thing that's all you need to know is that groups are typically 6 weeks. You meet 6 weeks in a row, and then your group is done. I want to encourage you, just pick, right now if you're scrambling, like I'm running behind, like Kevin was saying, don't worry. Just meet next week. And then
Yeah.
if you really want to, you could double up. I'm just saying that. Like if you felt like you wanted to end on time because our weekend services right now align, if you're watching live right now, you could watch, again, especially if your group is meeting, if your group watches the studies before, that's actually one of the best ways. You can actually watch 2 weeks, and then when you get together, you don't have to spend an hour watching. You can actually just go through the discussion questions. But I would encourage you, meet for 6 weeks. Don't just start now. If you start now, you're going to be fine. Do not worry about it, okay? But it's a great question.
I do have a question here. I'm getting requests from people to join, but they're not local. If they're far away, should I send them to online groups? Yes. You're getting this email notification from us if you've indicated that you are a public group, which means that you're open to new members. That's why you're getting these emails. Go ahead and follow up and see if they're local, if they want to come to your time and your gathering. Thank you for doing that, and that's a privilege as a member. But if you want to, if you find out that they're far away, go ahead and send them to us, kevinl@saddleback.com. Again, and that's my email. You can send it to us, and we'll find an online group for them.
Talk a little bit about your centralized group that you're doing, because I know one of the things that we've gotten a lot right now is people want to join a group.
Yes.
And we've been emailing with a lot of people, talking to a lot of people.
Yeah.
We have thousands of people that want to get into a group, and unfortunately, we have to have people that are willing to take new people. And most people are starting groups for their friends, and they're not really open to new people. A lot of you are, which is amazing. I know Kevin is really encouraged by that, and I want to encourage you. If you have a group that is maybe you got 5 people and you're willing to take on 3 or 4 more people, and especially if it's an online group, let Kevin know, because we have a lot of people interested, and we're really encouraging people to start groups. But one of the things Kevin's doing is you're hosting this centralized group. Like, talk a little bit about this online centralized
So
group.
centralized group is where I am hosting that group right now, where everybody can come and you get a taste of what small group looks like. This will be done online on Zoom. So we've made it available on every Monday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you can make it, it's just going to be 1 hour. We're going to actually watch the study together and then have a time to discuss. We have a lot of people who wants to join this group. Right now, we have 25 people who have showed interest to join this group. So, but we can take more. We have a way to subgroup and have discussion and conversations be done in 5 or 6 people, so we can divide up that group. You do need to be able to come in with your camera, if you could, with your earphone that has a microphone function on it, so the audio is clear for everyone. So we do ask that you come with that, because it's just going to make the interaction much better.
I want to call out Kyler right now. He's watching this. There's a Laker game on right now, and he's trying to get me to say who's going to win this game. I wasn't looking at the score because I'm at this event right now. But thank you. I did look at the score, and we're tied, so thanks. Anyways, so a question that I saw, I think it was Haley posted something about she has a Facebook group. So I know, so many of you know this, or you might not know this, that there's 2 ways groups meet. Typically, they have like a foundational place where they interact. It might be a group text thread. It might be a Facebook group. And the idea is that that's where you talk 24/7. This is how you engage. And then secondary, you have a live meeting. So online groups will use Zoom or Skype or a Google Hangout. A physical group would actually meet together at a coffee shop or in a home. So you have this home base, I call it, where it's like 24/7. It's like I do this with my brothers. Like my brothers and I are on this text thread. It's amazing. Texting, I've gotten so much closer with my brothers because we would never call each other. But texting, we're constantly texting with each other. But we still meet physically. And so Haley had this question. Well, she has this home base of a group. She has a Facebook group and has over 100 people in it. My thing would be is that your home base is too big. 100 people is too many people. It can still be a group, but it's just not a small group anymore. And so what I would encourage you is you can still have that 100 people, but maybe you need to have 6 or 7 groups that meet smaller. And so maybe your group is bigger, but when you actually meet, you can actually meet in smaller groups. One feature, if you use Zoom, and I think, Haley, you use Zoom, they have this thing called breakouts, right?
Exactly, yes.
I haven't used it too many times, but essentially everybody could get on a meeting. You can have 100 people on a Zoom call, that's actually too many people.
Yeah.
Let's say 60 people on a Zoom call, and you can say breakout.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to enable it before you meet, right?
Mhm,
So you have to. It's a feature you enable, and then what it does is it breaks off the large group into smaller groups automatically. So that might be a feature you can actually think about leveraging on Zoom. Check it out. I know you've had success with
Yes,
it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we subgroup, and that's how I'm able to take on that centralized group. More than 25 people will be on that Monday group, and they have shown interest to join tomorrow for us. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we can subgroup and have the interaction be within a smaller group of people.
Yeah. So do you have? I was wondering, do you recommend it all? Somebody posted about time limits, maybe when people you might have somebody who talks way too much.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that where you put time limits on groups? That sounds like too much of a hard rule, but
Yeah.
any tips around that?
Yeah, I think stating a clear expectation before you start, especially if you're just starting to host a new group, I think that's very important and very wise to do so. So you don't have to make it a hard rule where we're going to put a time clock on you, countdown 2 to 3 minutes, and have a hard line for that. But I think it's important to stress the point, or at least explain the expectation that this is a place where everybody should talk.
Yeah.
And as Pastor Jay said, the goal is for everybody to talk. So to kind of encouraging that expectation, it would be very wise to do.
Yeah,
so.
and somebody just posted if they wanted to join your centralized group, they would just email you.
Yes.
So kevinl@saddleback.com. We'll put up at the end that as well. But if you want to join that, or somebody wants to join it, that's really good. One thing I would just like a tip. If you I was emailing with somebody earlier today about this within their small group. I think it was Greg actually, who's watching right now. Whenever you have a person that is problematic in the group, maybe they're talking too much, maybe they share a prayer request and it's a little too gossipy. My encouragement is whenever you have those issues in your small group, do not use the group potentially as the time to correct them. Wait till after the group ends and talk to them individually. Everything is better when you're doing it this way. I mean, this is why, if you look at Matthew 18, when Jesus talks about how do you handle conflict, he's usually talking about you first go to the individual. And if the individual doesn't listen, then you get another person involved. And so my encouragement is you as the host, and I'm not saying you're going to have to handle a conflict thing, but typically if somebody's talking too much, don't say in the group time, hey, stop talking, you're yapping too much. That's not going to go over well. But if you go afterwards, you go, hey, Kevin, by the way, hey, one thing I just want, this is not a big deal, but, we want everybody to talk. So when you kind of talk, you're kind of like 8-10 minutes long, and it takes up a lot of the group. And remind them why. Say, hey, Sally and this, I don't know why I always use Sally, but these people are new. We want everybody to talk. And usually when you tell somebody, when you correct them and you give them a reason why, they kind of get it. Then if that person gets offended or disagrees with you, that's when you can talk to your community leader, or you can talk to us, and we can actually help you kind of handle that, okay? So that is the encouragement, is actually use us as a resource that if something doesn't make sense, there's a conflict, maybe something gets brought up in the group that you disagree with, and you talk to them and they don't listen, then get leadership engaged. We can actually help you. And so I got another question. Will this be available afterwards? Yes, it will be available here. I know for some people, I'm seeing in the chat, sometimes when you live stream things, your bandwidth isn't used to live streaming of video. So the playback will be available if anything kind of drops out at all. Any other questions?
Yeah. One of the questions asks if you want a physical copy of the book or even DVD. Yeah, it's available on pastors.com, www.pastors.com.
I don't think you need the W
anymore. But if you go to pastors.com, you'll be able to have the option of purchasing them.
Yeah, great. One question I did see is about purpose champions. So like we said at the beginning, this seminar, this training is really just a beginner. Like, we want to celebrate, first off, we have over 2,600 small groups with the online campus. It's amazing, and we know we're starting hundreds right now. And so this is kind of just Thank you for doing it. Here's some basic information. This is how you get the devotional stuff. If you want to dive deeper into how to have a healthy small group, take two big things. Take Leadership Training 1, which is online, on demand. Kevin can provide you access to that. You can email him, and he will be emailing you throughout the series. The other thing is, if you're not already, become a member of our church by taking Class 101. And so, like Purpose Champions, for example, that somebody asked that's obviously been a member of our church for a while. They know what LT1 is. You understand that. Purpose Champions is, we want every small group to express the 5 purposes. So worship, fellowship, ministry, evangelism, discipleship. And the idea is that you take each group and you make somebody a purpose champion. So somebody that makes sure, like, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that. And you don't do every purpose every week. You do every purpose over the course of 6 months. Because if you did it every week, it would be a little schizophrenic. It wouldn't make sense. And so the purpose champion is definitely an important thing. I would say if you're a brand new group, do not worry about that. That's something that's going to come in the next 3 months, okay? We'll talk about that in LT1. But if you want to do that, if you're an existing group, yes, talk about that. And for example, the Open Doors Project, your ministry champion would talk about that. Would say, hey, they would be the point person to do that. And that might be one thing that you should do, is you should elect one person in your small group to be the point person for the Open Doors Project. That would be something that I would really recommend. And so any other questions that are popping up?
No, I think we've addressed a lot of good questions, and I do want to make myself available if you have more questions. So if you have any questions, you can email me, as you see on the screen right here, kevinl@saddleback.com.
Yeah, so we're going to be wrapping up here, and Kevin's going to pray here in a moment. We're going to stay in the chat for a little bit longer. A couple things. Make sure you update your group roster. Do that. You can also update. Can you update? Somebody asked something about a time zone. Are you able to update when you meet, or is that?
Yeah, not generically in the section. It's not one of the fields that you can update, but we do ask that you tell us on the description box. You will see a description box where you can describe, like you can tell us what kind of group this is. Just right there on that box, let us know what time zone you're in.
Yeah, and one final question that I got was about Zoom. Zoom does cost money. It can be anywhere between $9.99 to $15 a month. You don't need to use Zoom. You can get the first 45 minutes free. If you watch the study prior and just do discussion questions, you can do your group within 45 minutes. Use Google Hangouts or Skype as a backup. I like Zoom. I have a paid account, but I understand not everybody can afford that. There is no discount with Saddleback. We don't have anything like that. I saw that question pop up. And then in about 5 weeks, we will recommend the next study. If your group wants to continue on, I saw somebody was like, what are we going to do after Time to Dream? You're getting way ahead of us, okay? Let's focus on this. Let's focus on finishing the study. Let's focus on doing the Open Door Project. And then Kevin, if you're hosting a group and you're not getting Kevin's weekly emails, he's sending a weekly email to all of our online campus groups. If you're not getting that, please let him know. Email him. And so first off, I want to thank everybody for being part of this. We are so excited. Yeah. We got groups all around the world, thousands and thousands of groups.
Exactly.
Thousands and thousands of people engaging in groups, both online and in homes. I'm excited to see how God uses this campaign. You have my contact info. You have Kevin's up on the screen right now. Please email him if you have any questions about how to add or access. He's here. Please access your community leader. But we'll hang around in the chat for a little bit longer. Thank you for being engaged. I'll have Kevin pray, and then we'll end.
God, we just thank you so much for this time where we can get together wherever we are, just in one place, and talk about the exciting things that you have for us, that you have prepared for us. Father, we're excited to see that we're part of a group, and we're in this journey of impacting the world around us. I think that's what we have with the online campus, especially with the Open Door Project. We have the ability to touch people all around this world. So, Father, we thank you that we belong to a community and church that dream big because you're a big God. We thank you that you've given us a great materials that we can get ready and to actually be involved and learn. We thank you for this teaching, and we thank you for this series. We thank you, and in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. I want to just thank you again. Thank you for hosting a group. Thank you for being a member of a group. Thank you for everything, for giving away part of your Sunday to be with us right now.
Yeah.
We're excited.
And not watching the Lakers game.
And not watching the Lakers game, which I'll watch the fourth quarter now. But anyways, guys, have a good rest of your week. Thank you, and see you later.